Hello, my Tara Smith. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
So please tell everybody all of your titles and everything because you are a busy, busy lady.
I am a productive lady and a busy lady. So I have the honor to serve as a MAPS Mastery Coach. That's one thing I do. I also work with MAPS as a regional ambassador. That's a new role, and that's going really well. So basically, I look for people who could benefit from coaching with MAPS in our local region. And then I work with Cody Gibson's expansion team as a regional director of expansion in the Ohio Valley region and in the Virginias. So
Nice.
Lots of fun.
Nice. You also hold other roles. You are a wife.
I am.
And
mother of 6 teenagers.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother level of crazy in itself.
That's a high level position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. It's interesting. Keeps us on our toes for
That's
sure.
high level leadership, Tara. That's high level leadership, darling.
Someone is leading in our house, and I'm not sure if it's us or the teenagers.
Or the dog.
Or the dog. He's a leader too.
He is a leader. He's learned from the best. He has a voice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. And so with all that leadership that you have and those many masks and roles that you wear, you have a lot of time management that you have. You know, I don't want to use the term mastery because I really like to think that we never reach mastery because we're always in growth. But I mean, dang girl, you do it real good.
Yeah, if my assistant were here, if my executive assistant were here, she would be like, do not take on another obligation. And that's really where I'm at. It's, you get to a space where you really are picking and choosing the best use of your time and the best place to invest your time. And my entire schedule is time blocked, pretty much Monday through Friday from 7 to 5:30. And I live by my schedule. So I look down and it tells me where to go next. And that's where I'm at.
Right.
It's amazing. Yeah.
There's an art to saying no.
There is. Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is, we have to say no to a lot of good things so that we can say yes to some really great things. And it's just recognizing that when you choose to say yes, it's actually the death of all other options. So when I choose to commit myself to a time commitment, everything else is off the table.
Say that again, please. It's the death of all other options.
Yeah. So fully committing and saying yes to one thing, you're saying no to everything else. And
I think that is so key. It is so key. You know, leadership is so much about timing and momentum and legacy and so many other things. And that when we say yes to that one moment, we're truly letting go of so many other things. And it's all about that right timing. And you have figured that out very, very well in your life to just really leverage yourself to such a high level in so many other areas.
Yeah, it's definitely a process, and it's picking every single day to commit to where you're going to choose to spend your time and then being fully engaged. That was my challenge this year. My word for this year was lead. And it wasn't lead as far as like I want to be a leader or I choose to, I want the title. It was truly, what does it look like in every single moment to invest in the person or people or the room I'm in, and that type of leadership where I'm fully invested and intentional in each moment. And that's important because the busier you get, what I found is I could be sitting down at my table and having dinner with my family, and yet my mind is in 25 other places, or I'm having a great conversation with Claire Brown on an interview, and I'm thinking about the 14 things that happen after this. Yeah. And so for me this year, leading was truly serving and being intentional in every moment that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a big growth opportunity.
Yeah. And I think that's true interpersonal reflection And that's true growth. Full disclosure, I think, it's important for everyone to know how we came about in each other's worlds.
Yeah.
We were coached together by a mastery coach.
We were.
And became friends, acquaintances through that experience. And then you became a mastery coach. And you were my mastery coach.
I was, yes.
And you're the one that gave me this wonderful, brilliant plan to put these houses on my door, because you are a product of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
So says the book, The One Thing. And because of that, you helped me create the environment that I live in daily.
Yep.
And Tarp, just to take a moment, I have so much gratitude for the growth that you helped me in the coaching experience that we had. And I can sit here and reflect on that for longer than we have in this short period of time. But to stretch me and to help my mindset stretch the way that it did, and the wisdom that you poured into me, and through that leadership, there's gratitude abounds through that. And so thank you so much. That definitely needs to be said on a public and high level.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think that mindset is the key. And I've been teaching 6 personal perspectives, and actually this morning I spent some time practicing step 5, which is limiting beliefs. And one of the things that's really fascinating to me in my role as a MAPS coach and a regional director, I have the opportunity to coach about 50 agents right now. And I look at these people and I see, or these agents, I see this incredible potential. And we're having these amazing conversations, and it's like I'm talking to them and they're having conversations in their head. And so if you're face to face with someone and you say, gosh, you can go out and take that listing, and you can visibly see sometimes people telling themselves that they can't. And it's the same thing with anything that anyone desires to do. We can sit around forever and talk about getting ready and getting ready and getting ready. And, one day I want to do that. And one day I want to do this. And one day I want to be like that person. The reality is all that person has done different than anyone else is they've gone out and taken action.
Right.
They probably failed. They probably failed a million times. And here's the thing. We talk about this. We put quotes up and we talk about fail forward, and we live in a culture of fail forward. The reality is it's not as sexy as it looks in the quote that we post on social media. It really, really sucks. When you get into failure and you fail, and it's a big one. I've had some pretty substantial failures in my life. It is tough to get up and go out and do it again. And I think for women especially, most women struggle with insecurity. We struggle with measuring ourselves to the people around us. And authenticity is a really great place. And if you're not safe with the people around you, if you don't have a good environment, like you said, and you can't be authentic in your process, if you can't fail and be safe and have people say, gosh, that sucked, what's next? Let's go try again. You need new friends. That's it. You need new and better friends, because that's where you need to be every day is, how do I get to chaos? How do I get to failure? Am I willing to go there so that I can move myself forward? And
we allow fear to hold us back so often. We are so scared to get out of the comfort and to ask for the growth, because that is the only way to achieve success at a high level. We are so comfortable to stand back and allow others. You never hear a man say, do you just have a minute? Can I just have a minute of your time? Can I ask you something just real quick? The word just needs to be eliminated from our vocabulary. No, I don't just want a minute. I want it all. Every second, all the time. I want all the listings. I want all the market share. I want all the success. I want all the business. I want all the wonderful people to surround me with. I want all the coaching. I don't want just a little bit. I want it all. and I will empower myself to attain it.
Yeah.
So we have to eliminate the fear, never have a limiting belief, and break through every bit of it. I am so sick and tired of seeing women hold themselves back in their potential.
Yeah. And that is the reality. It's, I don't know how to encourage someone I do a lot of mindset coaching and things like that. I wrote down a couple of quotes just from a call this week we had with Diana. And I have an amazing amount of respect for Diana. And I shared this with you on our call last week. I, from a very young age, I had a couple of people in my world that just, would speak into me that, you could do anything you want to do, or you're going to live this incredible life. And what's interesting, probably many of us believe that as little girls.
We do.
Somewhere in the journey, we lost that vision. And there was a moment in my life, I shared this with you, with my ex-husband, hence the X part, where I shared with him, I had gone to Quantum Leap, and I truly believed that I could change the world in whatever reality that looked like, whether it was impacting my family and then them impacting the world. And in that conversation, I said, I want to change the world. That's what I want to do. And I was probably afraid to even voice it. And he said, you're not going to change the world. And I was like, well, yeah, I that's what I want to do. I want to change the world. And he's like, Tara, get real. Like, you're not going to change the world. And it really was, it was a hard moment, actually. Right. So I'll never forget that moment, because I walked away from that conversation unsure. And being in Diana's world, she gets up on the stage, or she gets up in trainings, and she says, hey, I'm going to change the world, and y'all can come and do it with me.
Yes.
And it's been such an honor to be under her leadership at whatever level. And so anyway, back to the quotes. Something she shared this week on our call was, excellence is not an act, it's a habit.
Yeah. And
it's not who you are. It's not, oh my gosh, that person is amazing and they were born that way. It's no, they get up every single day and they commit to habits, good habits, great habits, time management, investing in people, growing themselves. And that's where they get to a level of excellence, or they're on the journey to excellence. The other thing that, we were talking about fear, and this is something where people aren't really sure typically how to get to a place of not having fear. My first thought and belief is that highly successful people, they're fearful too. They are so afraid. I've taught 50 classes in my region and all over the United States this year. And people come up and say, gosh, one day I want to do that. And I go, why? I'm just like you. Go do it tomorrow.
Go, get it.
When I stepped up here to start teaching this class, I'm an introvert. Do you think I feel real good getting up?
Okay, so then take that back. So take that back, and then what is the question? The question has to be, what would your life look like if you didn't fear it? What would your world look like if you did? Yeah. And then they have to truly imagine it.
Yeah, well, it's not only that, it's just acknowledging that fear is okay. We all have them. Successful people go, gosh, yeah, shoot, I'm afraid right now. And guess what? I'm going to take action, because action, everything I want is on the other side of my fear. And for me to feel good and productive about where I'm at, I'm not going to allow fear to paralyze me. I'm going to go out and make it happen. So let me talk real quick about this quote from Diana. Here's what she said. This was so powerful. If you guys are taking notes, I would write this down. There are only two things that can change your life. There's only two things. So if you're stuck, wherever you're stuck, whether it's fear, it's comparison, it's insecurity, ego, whatever it is, there's two things that can change your life. One is that something new comes into your life. Someone new, something new happens. The second thing that could happen to elicit change is something new comes from within inside of you.
Yeah.
And that's a really powerful thought, because any of us can go out and change today. Mm-hmm. It's find someone or something new to invest in you, or something new, or something to just break the habits you've created, or find something within yourself that can bring that change out in your life. So that, like, if you're fearful, there are your options.
Well, but the thing is, though, that takes a lot of personal work, and you have to dig deep to do that. And so many are not committed to doing that because of what it will bring about.
Yeah. I had a moment of ego this week. I'm happy to share. Like, if y'all want to talk about failure, I can just probably talk for 3 hours about failure. And I'm really comfortable with who I am and allowing myself to fail in most situations. This week, something popped up in my world, middle of the week, that just derailed me. Like, I was a wreck. I had to stand in front of what is culture, and it said, if you're having a bad day attitudinally, don't be in the market center. So I went home. I said, I told my assistant, I think I'm going to have to go home. I'm getting ready to have a breakdown. And so I went home, and I spent like 2 days thinking about the situation. Everything about the situation that happened was positive, except for how it made me feel.
Oh.
It hurt my feelings. Mm-hmm. And so when I spent some time there, I thought, you know what? This is ego. Mm-hmm. This is ego. Mm-hmm. Like, we all have one, and it typically is not a good friend.
No, it is not a good friend. That is not a friend.
It's not a good friend.
Not a friend at all.
And it's the reality. It's the reality. And what I work with Chad Himes. He was texting me because I put something on Facebook, and he's like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm over here arm wrestling my ego, and I'm losing today. So check back tomorrow."
There's a video that I watched that says nobody's gonna care about your little feelings, because that's all they are. They're just your little feelings, darling.
Yeah. And aren't we feelers? I mean, we get so caught up in feelings and how that made me feel and how she made me feel in my ego. And the reality is, if you
just your little feelings.
Yeah, if you want to be successful, or you want to impact the world, or you want to change the world, the first thing that gets to go
are your little feelings.
That's right. You get to go. You get to put yourself in the back seat, mm-hmm. and you get to think about
law about that. It says keep your emotions between the lines.
Yes. And is that easy?
Is that easy? Yeah.
No.
They're just your little feelings. Because you know what? Somebody else has got their own little feelings, and we don't care about theirs either.
Yeah. It is.
Everybody's got a story, and everybody's got feelings.
Yeah.
So you just better take care of your own.
Well, and what even started that was, you said just knowing who you are. And I think knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses is really important, because neither are good or bad. Mm-hmm. Your strengths and your weaknesses are just who you are. So by knowing and having really good clarity about who you are in your world and how you react, you can eliminate some challenges from happening just by having clarity about what's happening inside of you. Because that dictates everything else, right?
Yes. And examples of that are, it's like, you know what? I know that my director of operations is going to do that so much better than me, and that needs to be delegated to her.
Yes, exactly.
He has to handle that, because I'm going to lose it.
Let go of control, ladies, wherever you are. If you want to move forward, let go of control. You can't do it all, and you're not.
Buyer's agent needs to handle this client, because we are not a good match.
Yeah.
And I know that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
Tara, you are an amazing, powerful woman, and so much gratitude for all that you've helped me with in growth, all that you continue to help others with in growth, and just your journey and what it testifies to others. Thank you so much for all you do, all you continue to do, and I can't wait to chat more.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Absolutely. Anytime.
Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Thank